Well, hello there, Nyxson here. In this video, we're going to be talking about amazing RPG named Outward, and we're going to be discussing whether this game is actually worth playing in 2020. Well, to be fair, game is fairly new. It came out in the beginning of 2019, and it was made by indie studio called 9.Studios. It's an amazing studio, only comprised of only few people, and they managed to come out with this amazing game, and this game have been consuming my time recently, and I simply love this game. So let's talk about it, and let's talk what Outward is and whether it is actually worth to play in 2020 or not. Well, right from the get-go, if you are the lover of RPGs and if you are not afraid of challenge, then Outward is absolutely worth to play in any year, 2020 or beyond. But if you are not a patient player, if you want something that's very easy and something that is brought to you on the plate, then no, this game is absolutely not for you, because this game can be brutally challenging and destroying your nerves. So let's just discuss whether this game is good or not overall. So what Outward is fantasy RPG in a fictional world where the magic and a surprising amount of technology as well, and it is a beautiful world, even though the graphics of the game can look pretty dated, but this allows it to have its own charm without being too flashy with the colors. The game heavily relies on lighting, and the lighting in this game is pretty superb, and some of the places in the game is simply beautiful no matter what type of graphics you are playing. I highly suggest you to check the complex mountain in the beginning of the game, in the first zone of the game, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This game is simply beautiful from time to time, and overall the graphically game is pretty good, not amazing, a bit dated even for the 2019 when it came out, but still beautiful nonetheless. And the lore of the game is simply beautiful as well. It's completely unique game with completely unique story, the unique history of the world. Every zone has their own history, there are different cities with their different lore, etc. But the problem is that the lore is not being brought to you as simple as you might think. The only way to get accommodated with the lore is actually visiting this place, and if you want to read about the lore and know more about the lore of the game, then you will have to probably go through the quests, and because quests are not fully voice acted, they are only partially voice acted, it can be a bit frustrating to read through all these texts where you want to listen the history of the world. Even though it's not a big problem after a few hours of the game, it would be great if just developers would just voice act the entire game. This would make game lore like 1,000 times better. Okay, let's talk about the biggest thing of this game. It's difficulty. Boy, oh boy, this game is difficult. There is no difficulty levels in the game. Well, actually there is normal gameplay and hardcore, but overall there is no difference in the gameplay, meaning that there's no difference from the starter zone to the end zone. There are of course different types of bosses, but the gameplay is as difficult from the very beginning till the very end. It is extremely difficult to play this game, but not unfairly difficult, meaning that if you start learning how to play during the first hours, the game is becoming not easier, but you will start to understand more and more, and you will become better in the game. The combat in the game is pretty good. It's not anything amazing, but the bad thing is that it's a bit clunky and a bit stiff. The fluidity of the movements cannot be felt, and it's like you're playing with a wooden toys. It's not that great. However, it is not taken away from the fun of the combat and the satisfaction of winning even the smallest battles, because trust me, even the worst of the enemies can pose a huge challenge and can be difficult for anyone, even anyone that is hardcore gamer, especially for the casual gamer like I am. Plus, not just the combat is difficult in this game, the entire world is difficult, because there is no fast travel and there is no mounts. If you want to move through the world, if you need to go to the edge of the world, you better be sure that you have to work the entire way, and if you have to come back, you have to walk entire way back as well. It's kinda immersive, but a bit frustrating from time to time, because I understand that we have to discover world from the beginning, but doing this over and over again can be a bit more frustrating, and it just inflates the time of the game. Even though I can understand that one thing that can be good in this walking simulation is that you might make twists and turns in the way that you haven't done before, and you might discover some things that you haven't even tried before, and it's actually making gameplay a bit more diverse. But still, a bit of a fast travel or maybe mounts would have been really good in this game. But is the difficulty of the game punishing? It's boring? Is it boring to die over and over again in this game? Absolutely not, because this game has something called death scenarios, meaning that when you die, you are not dying completely. You are basically knocked unconscious, and different scenarios will kick in depending on where you are and what you have been killed by. Or you might wake up by in some creature's cave, or you might wake up as a slave in the bandit camp, or you might wake up in the city when someone took care of you. You might wake up in someone's camp, or at any other scenario. There are so many different death scenarios that even dying in this game is making it difficult. And because of that, even when you don't know how to play this game and you die over and over again, it still keeps the game interesting, and you even want to go and fight one more time just to find out if the death scenario will be different. Plus, by fighting over and over again, you are learning this game more and you're dying less, and it's rewarding in its way. Game has survival mechanics as well, meaning that you need to eat food, you need to drink water, you need to take care of the temperature of your surroundings, which can vary wildly from freezing cold to the desert hot, and plus you need to sleep from time to time as well. I would not say that this transforms game into the survival game, but it adds some flair that is not as invasive as you might think, because eating food and drinking water, you will go days without it and still be fine. Plus the different food and drinks provide you with different bonuses to your character and different boons and buffs for yourself. So it's actually pretty interesting with these mechanics. It's not invasive and it's pretty fun overall. Game has no save system as well, meaning that you cannot quick save and quick load in this game. If you die, you die, but it doesn't mean that you have to die permanently. That means that the death scenario will kick in. So basically you don't even need a save system. Plus, when you quit the game, it will save you exactly on the same spot. So it's not that it's difficult. It's not the problematic that there is no save system. Game has a multiplayer as well, which is probably one of the biggest thing of the game, which not a lot of people are actually using, and it's amazing thing to have. You can actually go through entire game with your friend online, or even split screen, even on the PC, which makes this incredibly fun experience. It is completely different game when you play this with the friend, and it allows you to choose the different skills that you would not choose while you're playing alone, because in a team skills work completely differently and you can make things and do things that you couldn't do otherwise. Speaking of skills, this game provides you with an amazing assortment of skills which I haven't seen in a lot of RPGs. This game is what developers called a ritualistic approach to the skills, especially to the magic, meaning that when you start the game, you don't have mana at all. You cannot use magic. You need to unlock the magic, unlock the mana by sacrificing your health and your stamina, or your stamina to be fair. And when you unlock the magical skills, you cannot even use them properly because you need to combine different type of magical skills in order to use magic. For example, if you want to use like flamethrower type of magic, you need to hold some kind of lighting in your hand, like a lantern or a torch. Otherwise, the magic will not just work. Plus, you can learn a different runes and combine them in a different ways to just use a different type of effects and magic, and you can make them even more powerful by combining with the different things, etc, etc. It's extremely interesting gameplay with the magic especially, which I like to play. I usually never play with the warriors or archers or rogue types of the game. I usually go through the magic types, and it is extremely interesting and especially very fun when you're playing alone, because it will make you very powerful if you know how to play this game. And learning the magic is actually a pretty steep curve that when you pass it, it will make you practically indestructible and very powerful. And it is very interesting to play a magical character because it's not as straightforward as you might think, and it makes it even more rewarding. Overall, what this game provides you: the beautiful world with a different lore, the multiple storylines that I didn't talk about, but you can actually have multiple storylines that allows you to beat the game more than once, interesting skill and magical system, difficult but fair combat system, interesting survival mechanics, and many more. Plus, what's most interesting, just a few days after this video will be up, the new DLC for the game with an entirely new zone called Soroborians will be out for this game, and this is an additional reason to play this game in 2020. Overall, I love this game and I cannot wait to return to this game to beat it to the completion, and I cannot wait to see what future the developers of the game have for this. Well, this will be it for today. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.